Annexure 2, Invoice Illustration. When rubber meets the road. Throughout this book I have been using simple examples to keep the focus on the learning aspect of the theory of this subject. The true learning comes only when we are able to apply it to a concrete business scenario that one encounters in real life, which is when the promise I made in the preface that this book also aims to address a founder of a proprietary, or an SME business, also gets addressed. I am going to present an invoice that captures many dimensions of real-world events like line item discount, overall discount, taxes, payment modes, etc., to then go on to show what are the set of journal entries that can be plotted from one single such invoice. Let us look at a sample data of an invoice, and then go on to see how the various components will be captured as journal entries when this invoice is booked in the accounting system. The following data points will help you understand the calculation in the line item of the order details section. The discount is applicable at 10% on item A, 5% on item B, and 0% on item C. The GST rates are 10% on item A, 12% on item B, and 18% on item C. The customer already has a 2,000 advance, which is used to part settle this invoice. Out of the balance 477 is paid by cash, 750 by check, and the balance 250 is being kept as an overdue amount. ABC Limited, GST INX, Order Invoice. Customer. XYZ Enterprises, Address. Order Date. January 21st, 2018. Order Details. Item Name. Quantity, Rate. Amount. Discount. Tax. Net. Item A5. 200, 1000. 100, 90. 990, item B10. 300, 3000. 150, 342. 3192, item C1. 250, 250. 0, 45. 295, total. 4,250, 250. For 77, 4,477. Adjusted against advances on order date 2000. Paid by cash on January 25, 2018 477. Paid by check on February 8, 2018 750. Total payments 3,477. Balance payable 250. Now let us look at the financial components involved and map it to illustrative accounts in the books of both ABC Limited and XYZ Enterprises. Page 59 of 64 financial books of ABC Limited. Component. Account. Type. Category. Amount. Advance already paid by XYZ Enterprises. Customer advances, XYZ Enterprises. Personal liability. 2000. Sales of item A, gross sales, item A, nominal income. 1000, sales of item B, gross sales, item B, nominal income. 3000, sales of item C, gross sales, item C, nominal income. 250, line item discounts. Trade discounts given. Nominal expense. 250, line item taxes. GST/VAT payable. Personal liability. For 77, amount paid by cash. Cash. Real asset. For 77, amount paid by check. Bank. Real asset. 750, balance payable. Trade receivables, XYZ Enterprises. Personal asset. 250. Financial books of XYZ Enterprises. Component. Account. Type. Category. Amount. Advance already paid to ABC Limited. Advances to vendor, ABC Limited. Personal asset. 2000. Purchase of item A, gross purchases, item A, nominal expense. 1000, purchase of item B, gross purchases, item B, nominal expense. 3,000, purchase of item C, gross purchases, item C, nominal expense. 250, line item discounts. Trade discounts received. Nominal income. 250, line item taxes. Input GST/VAT paid. Personal asset. For 77, amount paid by cash. Cash. Real asset. For 77, amount paid by check. Bank. Real asset. 750, balance payable. Trade payables, ABC Limited. Personal asset. 250. We will conclude this chapter and this book by understanding the journal entries in the financial books of ABC Limited and XYZ Enterprises, because getting them conceptually right is all there is to mastering this subject. Ledger postings are mostly automated by software today, and getting the P&L and balance sheet with correct aggregations all boils down to correctly planning the granularity of accounts involved. Page 60 of 64. Journal entries in the books of ABC Limited. JEID, account name. Amount. Rule. 1. Cash. 2,000, debit what flows in. Customer advances, XYZ Enterprises. 2,000, credit provider of benefit. Total 2,000. Narration. This transaction even predates this invoice, and will be passed when an advance of 2,000 has been collected from XYZ Enterprises. Customer advances, XYZ Enterprises represents the obligation of ABC Limited towards XYZ Enterprises, and is hence a liability. It is the liability which is funding the cash as of today, instead of a income via actual sale, and hence the liability, as an account, is to be understood as the provider of the benefit of increase in the assets of the organization. This is being elaborated to stress on the learning provided in the chapters that the rules of debit and credit should always be applied from the eyes of the account, and not the business entity it represents. JEID, account name. Amount. Rule. 2A. XYZ Enterprises. 900, debit receiver of benefit. Trade discounts given. 100, debit expense. Gross sales, item A, 1,000. Credit income. Total 1,000. 2B. XYZ Enterprises. 2,850, debit receiver of benefit. Trade discounts given 150. Debit expense. Gross sales, item B 3,000. Credit income. Total 3,000. 2C. XYZ Enterprises. 250, debit receiver of benefit. Gross sales, item C 250. Credit income. Total 250. Narration. These entries will be passed on the order date, January 21st, 2018, and represents the sale of item A, B and C. Since the payment date are beyond the order date, and hence it is fully a credit sale on that day, making XYZ Enterprises as the receiver of the benefit. JEID, account name. Amount. Rule. 3. XYZ Enterprises. For 77, debit receiver of benefit. GST/VAT payable. For 77, credit provider of benefit. Total 477. Narration. This is the consolidated entry that will be passed on the order date, January 21st, 2018, for the tax payable to the government, which is also due from XYZ Enterprises to ABC Limited. XYZ Enterprises is receiver of the benefit from ABC Limited till he pays it. Government is the provider/source of benefit to ABC Limited till the taxes that will be collected eventually from XYZ Enterprises are deposited with the government treasury. The ability of a business entity to manage its collections before its own dues become payable is what dictates the quality of working capital management. Page 61 of 64. JEID, account name. Amount. Rule. 4. Customer advances, XYZ Enterprises. 2000, debit receiver of benefit. XYZ Enterprises. 2000, credit provider of benefit. Total 2000. Narration. This is the entry that will be passed either on the order date or on the goods shipment date, depending on business principles and agreements, to adjust the advance paid by XYZ Enterprises towards the invoice due. Both the accounts are personal and represent the business interest/obligation of XYZ Enterprises only. However, customer advances, XYZ Enterprises advances represents ABC Limited's business obligation towards XYZ Enterprises. XYZ Enterprises represents the continuing relationship with them across periods. So, this transaction represents the reversal of ABC Limited's liability towards XYZ Enterprises, who is the provider of that benefit. JEID, account name. Amount. Rule 5. Cash. For 77, debit what flows in. XYZ Enterprises. For 77, credit provider of benefit. Total 477. Narration. This is the entry that will be passed on January 25, 2018 for the cash received from XYZ Enterprises. JEID, account name. Amount. Rule. 6. Bank. 750, debit what flows in. XYZ Enterprises. 750, credit provider of benefit. Total 750. Narration. This is the entry that will be passed on 8th February 2018 for the check received from XYZ Enterprises. Journal entries in the books of XYZ Enterprises. JEID, account name. Amount. Rule. 1. Advances to vendor, ABC Limited. 2000, debit receiver of benefit. Cash. 2000, credit what flows out. Total 2000. Narration. This transaction even predates this invoice, and will be passed when an advance of 2000 has been paid to ABC Limited. Advances to vendor, ABC Limited represents the claim of XYZ Enterprises towards ABC Limited, and is hence an asset. It is the asset which is getting created due to the payment of cash as of today, instead of a purchase, and hence the asset as an account is to be understood as the receiver of the benefit. This is being elaborated to stress on the learning provided in the chapters that the rules of debit and credit should always be applied from the eyes of the account, and not the business entity it. Page 62 of 64. Represents. JEID, account name. Amount rule. 2A. Gross purchases, item A, 1000. Debit expense. Trade discounts received. 100, credit income/gain. ABC Limited. 900, credit provider of benefit. Total 1000. 2B. Gross purchases, item B, 3000. Debit expense. Trade discounts received. 150, credit income/gain. ABC Limited. 2850, credit provider of benefit. Total 3000. 2C. Gross purchases, item C, 250. Debit expense. ABC Limited. 250, credit provider of benefit. Total 250. Narration. These entries will be passed on the order date, January 21, 2018, and represents the purchase of item A, B and C. Since the payment date are beyond the order date, and hence it is fully a credit purchase on that day, making ABC Limited as the provider of the benefit. JEID, account name. Amount. Rule 3. Input GST/VAT paid. For 77, debit receiver of benefit. ABC Limited. For 77, credit provider of benefit. Total 477. Narration. This is the consolidated entry that will be passed on the order date, January 21, 2018, for the tax payable to the government, which is also due towards ABC Limited by XYZ Enterprises. The input GST/VAT paid is an asset for XYZ Enterprises, as it can be adjusted against its own GST/VAT payable created during sales it makes, similar to the ones created in the books of ABC Limited. Typically, these are adjusted at the end of a tax payable period, which can differ across geographic domiciles. Since the amount is payable to ABC Limited as of today, the account that represents the obligation towards them is credited as the provider of the benefit of this asset. JEID, Account Name. Amount. Rule. 4. ABC Limited. 2000, Debit Receiver of Benefit Advances to Vendor, ABC Limited. 2000, Credit Provider of Benefit. Total 2000. Narration. This is the entry that will be passed either on the order date or on the goods received date to adjust the advance paid to ABC Limited towards the invoice due. Both the accounts are personal and represent the business obligation/interest of ABC Limited. However, advances to vendor, ABC Limited represents XYZ Enterprises' claim on ABC Limited. ABC Limited represents the continuing relationship with them across periods. So, this transaction represents the reversal of XYZ Enterprises' claim on ABC Limited, who is the page 63 of 64. Receiver of that benefit. The claim is providing the benefit to the vendor. JEID, Account Name. Amount. Rule. 5. ABC Limited. For 77, Debit Receiver of Benefit. Cash. For 77, Credit what flows out. Total 477. Narration. This is the entry that will be passed on January 25, 2018 for the cash paid to ABC Limited. JEID, Account Name. Amount. Rule. 6. ABC Limited. 750, Debit Receiver of Benefit. Bank. 750, Credit what flows out. Total 750. Narration. This is the entry that will be passed on February 8, 2018 for the check issued to ABC Limited. Page 64 of 64. About the author. Mahesh was born on January 15, 1976, and was raised in the beautiful city of Chennai, which is the capital city of the state of Tamil Nadu in India. He did his complete schooling from PS Senior Secondary School in Chennai, and then graduated in Commerce from RKM Vivekananda College, Chennai during the year 1996. He pursued his master's in Business Administration, with a dual major in Finance and Systems, in Bharatidasan Institute of Management in Trichy, graduating in the year 1998. Although he has always worked in the IT industry since 1998, it has been his passion to become an author, and this is his first of many aspiring works. Being a very diligent student of the subject of financial accounts, he has always wanted to contribute in his own way to the appreciation this subject rightfully deserves, and hence chose this topic for his first ever authoring effort. He dedicates this book totally to his late parents, Shri Shankaranarayanan and SMT Namagiri, who being an honors graduate in commerce and a gold medalist in economics respectively were his guide to this subject during his early schooling years, which gave him the solid foundation. He is always reachable at maheshashankar1976@gmail.com, maheshashankar1976@gmail.com for any doubts that students of this book/subject would like to discuss with him.